Panda! Hello, and welcome to Pandas at Play. I'm Alex, aka Mr. Panda.
And I'm Tifa, aka Crystal Dragon.
And today we're gonna talk about Nintendo's recently announced SNES Classic! Woo! So Nintendo just announced that they are going to be releasing the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, or the SNES Classic, or, you know, for some, the SNES Mini, because it's going to be a tiny console, a tiny version of the Super Nintendo. And we're very excited because we actually made a video with our wish list predicting our games that we'd like to see on the SNES Classic a while back. And now we can see if our predictions came true.
Yeah.
And we can, you know, be happy that, you know, there are going to be games coming on in the SNES Classic. So we're very excited. In the US, it's going to be $79.99. And it's going to release on September 29th. So that's something to look forward to. Hopefully, there will be more stock than there was with the NES Classic, because it was really hard to get the NES Classic.
Yeah.
We got lucky, but, like, it wasn't easy, and I really hope that at the very least there will be, you know, a good amount of stock for everyone who wants it.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nintendo needs to meet their demand with more supply, especially for collector's items like this.
Yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the games that are going to be on the Super Nintendo Classic, starting with the big Megaton announcement, Star Fox 2. So Star Fox 2 is basically a new Super Nintendo game, if you can believe it. The first Star Fox did come out on Super Nintendo, and then we got Star Fox 64 on the Nintendo 64. But Star Fox 2 was basically an unreleased game that, you know, we didn't really have a clue if it was finished or if they were ever going to do anything about it. We had heard that they had already put in some of those elements in other Star Fox games, like maybe Star Fox Zero with the chicken walker. But then suddenly, now we have Star Fox 2, a game that is finally seeing the light of day after decades, since like the early 90s. And who knows what it's gonna be like. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's exciting that we're getting basically a brand new game for an old system that's never come to the US. So that's super cool that not only is it a classic and we're getting to see all these classic games that we know and love, but we get to see something completely new to us. So yeah, really cool.
The Star Fox 2 is definitely gonna make it worth it. Like, I mean, just to have a new Super Nintendo game, I think that alone is gonna make the Super Nintendo Classic, like, you know, a real hot item. And, you know, there's 20 other games, so the full number will be 21, which is less than the NES Classic, less than 30, which is understandable. The Super Nintendo games are bigger, technically a little more expensive, so Nintendo is just having less games. But there are some really good, great quality games that, you know, some of them are really long. So let's start and talk about all of the games that were announced in alphabetical order, starting with Contra 3: The Alien Wars. So that's something that I had predicted, that we had predicted in our video. And yeah, I mean, Konami is supporting the SNES Classic, so it's great to see that. It's a very hard game, so it'll definitely be something fun.
Yeah, but I'm glad that one of our predictions, more than one I would say, but that's the first that made it on board the SNES Classic, so that's pretty cool. So the next one is Donkey Kong Country. Yeah,
so Donkey Kong Country, the original, is going to be released, which is great because I was worried about like the whole Rare thing with Nintendo. So it does look like we'll be getting Donkey Kong Country 1. So like Donkey and Diddy's Adventures. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're getting Donkey Kong Country 2 or 3, you know, unless there's some kind of unlockable component of it. But it's okay. Donkey Kong Country is really good. I was really hoping for 2, which is my personal favorite. But, you know, having Donkey Kong is good for the system.
Yeah, and it's one of those that it had to be on there.
It had to be on there. And then there will be Earthbound, which, like, it was so exciting the first time Nintendo revealed Earthbound was coming to Wii U Virtual Console, because that was the first time I played it. And now, you know, I get to play it again on the SNES Classic, hopefully. So it's gonna be fun. It's a great RPG, and it's really different from what was the norm at the time, like having a modern day setting.
Yeah, and I've seen kind of bits and pieces of Earthbound, but I've never played through the whole game myself, so I'm pretty excited, you know, because I love RPGs, to get to play this classic one that everyone loves so much. Alright, so the next one I'm super excited about as a big Final Fantasy fan. So Final Fantasy III, also known as 6, in kind of the main line numbering of games. I'm super excited to play, and I've been wanting to play it for a long time. So I have played Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, which we probably shouldn't mention, and 15. So obviously there's some gaps in the ones that I have played, and 6 is one that I've been wanting to play for a long time because I've heard that it's really good. So I'm super excited that that is coming to the SNES Classic.
Yeah, it's time for you to play the classics.
The classics, yes.
The classics.
Indeed.
And unfortunately, we're not getting Final Fantasy 2 or 4. But at least we're getting a Final Fantasy. And, you know, I'm glad that it's 3/6. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely one of my favorite Final Fantasies. So, yay, Square.
Yay.
Then we're also going to get FZero, the futuristic racing game. So we still don't have a new FZero for like Switch or anything, but at least we're gonna still get FZero again for SNES Classic. And of course, we had predicted this, and you know, it was likely that it was going to happen. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the next game, Kirby Superstar, is coming to the SNES Classic. Yay, Kirby!
8 games in one. Kirby is cute, so it's
Yeah.
very exciting. It's definitely one of my favorite as well. There are a lot of these like games where it's like my favorite in the series. The Super Nintendo had a lot of hits.
Yeah,
A lot of
it did
hits.
have a lot of classics, as we could say.
So yeah, Kirby Superstar is gonna be great. We're gonna be able to play with like Kirby and a partner character, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, big co-op game for the two of us.
So and then we're also gonna get Kirby's Dream Course. So we're gonna get 2 Kirby games for the price of an SNES Classic. But it's not Kirby's Dream Land 3 as we had predicted. It's actually going to be Kirby's Dream Course. Or Kirby Dream Course, which I actually didn't play. This is one of my first Kirby games back on the Super Nintendo, and it's fun. It's like a golf game where you propel Kirby into a golf hole.
Kirby Golf?
I like it. Yeah, it's Kirby Golf basically, and I although I did like it, it's not actual Kirby, but it has like a lot of the elements like getting powers and Kirby being a pink ball.
So I'm also really excited about Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Woo!
A very huge classic.
Yes.
So we are big Zelda fans. And I've played pretty much all the newer Zelda games. I haven't played some of the older ones though. And I really liked A Link Between Worlds, which is kind of like a throwback to Link to the Past.
Basically like the sequel.
Yeah. So after playing that, I'm like, wow, Link to the Past. Obviously, it's a classic game. I really want to play it. And so now I'm going to be able to get my hands on it on the SNES Classic.
It's the perfect time to get back
Yeah,
into
the perfect
perfect time to get into Link to the Past. Yes.
Yeah. So very excited about that one.
And then we're also going to get Mega Man X, which, makes sense. We're not getting Mega Man 7, which is also for the Super Nintendo. But we are getting Mega Man X, which is sort of like a spin-off with Mega Man, and Mega Man X sort of had other spin-off games, which we're not getting on the Super Nintendo Classic, but I think this is a good one to start with. It's a different take on Mega Man, and he has kind of different powers, so it'll be fun. It'll be a good, Capcom representation there.
Alright, so the next one is Secret of Mana, which we did predict in our previous video.
Most of them we've been predicting.
Yeah, we've predicted a lot of these, so we're glad that they ended up on the system.
But Secret of Mana is going to be really fun because it's a Square action RPG with 2 to 3 player support. Now I don't know if we'll be able to get 3 player at all. We do have 2 player support thanks to the extra controller that'll be bundled in the system. So we get 2 controllers instead of the one that was in the NES Classic. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
We can play Secret of Mana together, enjoy the Square adventures.
Yay,
Square adventure game. And then, of course, we are going to be getting Star Fox. So we're getting the original and Star Fox 2. And Star Fox is just crazy because we didn't... So Star Fox 2 is already crazy, but we didn't... Although we predicted Star Fox, it was hard to tell if they could even do Star Fox. It never made it to the Virtual Console on any system. And, it might have been like the Super FX chip. It might have been something else going on there. But we just never had Star Fox until now. So we are going to be able to play... Or I'm going to be able to play for the first time Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. And, of course, a lot of people, pretty much everyone, is going to be playing Star Fox 2 for the first time. And it has some, unlocky dealy where you have to play, the first level of Star Fox to get Star Fox 2. So, yeah, makes sense. I'm so excited for Star Fox 2, if you couldn't tell.
Okay, we also have Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting.
So
Gotta love that title.
Yes. So it's not like the first Street Fighter 2, but it's one of the many times that Capcom has reinvented Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. Kind of unfortunate for the Ultra Street Fighter 2 we have for the Switch, because that was pretty big, expensive HD title, and now we're just gonna be able to have an SNES version of Super Nintendo again. So I mean, that's what happens with Street Fighter 2. Another one we predicted is going to be Konami's Super Castlevania IV, and I like the Castlevania series. I like Super Castlevania IV a lot, so it was pretty revolutionary at the time. So I'm excited that we're gonna get it.
We're also getting Super Ghosts and Ghouls.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
We're also getting Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
And not Super Ghosts and Ghouls.
Which, to be honest, I don't know too much about this game.
I don't know too much about it either, so it's actually going to be new to me. I've never played Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I played the one for NES, but it'll be fun. It's from what I hear, it's a very, very hard game. And then we'll also be getting Super Mario Kart, of course. So Super Mario Kart, the classic. So yeah, Super Mario Kart. I mean, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now, and you know it's a lot of fun. But it's always good to go back to the originals. And Super Mario Kart was my first Mario Kart, and I used to spend a lot of time when I was a kid playing that. So I'm excited to go back to it. I don't know if I'll play it a lot, but I know that a lot of people like had their childhoods with Super Mario Kart. So it's a good inclusion. It makes sense to put it in.
Yeah. All right, and adding another RPG to the list.
Another long one.
Yeah, there's Super Mario RPG.
Super Mario RPG.
So I'm happy because I'm a big RPG fan. So in addition to...
And we're big Mario fans.
Big Mario fan as well.
And RPG fans.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they're having yet another RPG on the system, and I can't wait to dabble and play in this one. Because again, this is another RPG that I didn't get to play back in the day when it first came out. So I want to be able to experience the full thing now.
And it's another Square RPG, so Square's like killing it. So Square's like killing it with all these like long 20 to 40 hour games on this system. So it's gonna be a good value.
yeah, good investment.
Yeah. We're also getting Super Mario World, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I played pretty much at least once a year, and hopefully with the Super Nintendo Classic, I'll be able to play it again, because I always do. So it's the introduction of Yoshi, it's the introduction of the Cape power-up, 16-bit Mario. It's just ghost houses. There's so much that's good about Super Mario World.
Yeah, great music. It's got a
Great music.
soundtrack,
I
too.
can't wait. Well, no, I guess I can wait because I already have Super Mario World a lot. But I'm just glad it's in there. It had to be in there. It was the one game that had to be in it. I think it was our very first prediction. It had to be in the Super Nintendo Classic.
Definitely. And Super Metroid, or it's coming
Woo!
to the system. Yay! So yeah, so definitely excited.
Represent.
Alex is wearing a shirt representing save the animals and or kill the animals.
So anyway, Super Metroid. Super Metroid is great. There's not much to say except I'm glad Metroid is making such a full swing back into everyone's limelight because with the Metroid Prime 4 being announced and Metroid Samus Returns for 3DS, we're gonna get more Metroid love, and I'm glad Super Metroid is in it. It just had to be. It's one of those you needed Metroid, you needed Zelda, you needed Mario. So we have the trifecta, the Triforce. And then we're also gonna have Super Punch-Out. Of course, I love the Punch-Out series. I really liked the very first one and the Wii one. Super Punch-Out, I didn't like as much, but I still enjoyed it, and I liked the series. So I'm glad that out of all of the Nintendo franchises that tend to go overlooked, I'm glad that at least Super Punch-Out is in it. So great addition. And finally, the last game is
Yoshi's Island.
Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Do people still call it Super Mario World 2? So Yoshi's Island. It's also one of my favorite games. I love Yoshi's Island. It's Yoshi's first adventure. And it's another game that I'm somewhat surprised about. We did not get it on any virtual console, except we got the Game Boy Advance version, which is a little gimped, but we now have the original Yoshi's Island finally replayable since the Super Nintendo, repurchasable since the Super Nintendo. And I'm very happy to see Yoshi's Island back, because I wasn't sure if we were ever gonna see the original re-released in any form. So yeah, I'm excited to play all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Super Nintendo Classic, and yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I really hope that we can get one. And I hope you all can get one. Super Nintendo Classic, what do you think?
So I'm super excited. Super excited. Well, I'm glad that they're releasing the system because we thought that they would, which is why we made the predictions, way back when. And I'm glad to see that a lot of our predictions made it onto the system as well, along with a few surprises.
Yeah, so we got 17 out of 21 games predicted. Of course, we overshot by guessing 30 games. So as long as we don't subtract all the other games. But we got 17 games, and, I think we picked pretty obvious picks, though, I think. Yeah. I think that Nintendo just had to release those, and we were hoping for support from, we got Konami, Square, and Capcom support, so that's good. And I really wish we had a little more from, like, other companies. I don't know, I just feel like we do have those 3 companies, but they're mostly Nintendo games, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it is a pretty heavy, like, list of things that we see all the time on Super Nintendo Virtual Console anyway, so there's that. But Star Fox 2, at least, that's huge. That's a game that no one has played, so at the very least it'll have a new game for everyone. And I think with these RPGs, especially Square stuff, we have at least 60-80 hours of just those adventure RPG titles, not including all the other games that are going to be included. So yeah, it's going to be great, and I guess the only thing I'm worried about is stock.
Yeah, so we'll do our best to snag one when it comes out.
And I hope you do your best too, and good luck to you. Yeah. Let us know what your favorite games that are coming beyond the Super Nintendo Classic are. Let us know what you're most looking forward to for the SNES Classic. And yeah, let us know what games you wish were included as well.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be doing more of these, like on-camera discussions with you guys about Nintendo topics. Really hope you enjoy them. Let us know more of what you'd like to see, and we're just so happy to share our gaming lives with you.
Yeah.
So again, this was Alex, aka Mr. Panda.
And this was Tifa, aka Crystal Dragon.
Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye!